Hi, and welcome to Coach Jude at Rangitoto. After my series of letting go of habits, it's a complete change of topic this week. I'm putting my scientist hat on today to talk about the two omegas, what they are and why they're important, and how they may have an impact on your ability to attain and maintain a healthy weight. I'll also be exploring an intriguing idea that obesity is a symptom caused by a deficiency of omega-3 in the diet. Sounds far-fetched? Keep watching to get the lowdown so you can make up your own mind. Omega-3 and omega-6 are both essential polyunsaturated fatty acids. Essential meaning you need to obtain them from your diet because your body can't produce them. Although biochemically they are very similar, their effect on the body is very different. Let's look at where we get them from and how they affect us. But first, if you need some more general help, maybe because you're just setting out on your own weight loss journey, or perhaps you've stalled, check out the link in the description to my free comprehensive guide to kickstarting your weight loss. So back to those omegas. One of the key differences is that omega-3 is thought to be anti-inflammatory, whereas omega-6 is thought sometimes to be more pro-inflammatory, but also may reduce the levels of bad cholesterol LDL. The bottom line is that we do need both to be healthy. However, these days we tend to get far more omega-6 than omega-3 in our diets. Some of the literature out there indicates that too much omega-6 can promote disease states, while other research suggests that it's the balance between the two that is the key. They suggest a healthy ratio would be around 4:1 of omega-6 to omega-3, lower if you can manage it. But a typical Western diet has a ratio of around 15:1. The main source of omega-6 is vegetable oils like soybean, which is found in all sorts of processed food. The three main omega-3 fatty acids are ALA, EPA and DHA. Their full chemical names are quite a mouthful. ALA is found mainly in plant oils such as flaxseed, soybean and canola or rapeseed oils. DHA and EPA are more abundant in oily fish like salmon, mackerel and sardines, and algal oil. However, the primary source of omega-3 is green plants. Omega-3 is produced by the chloroplasts in the plant. The reason fish have high levels is because in the wild they eat green plants like algae and plankton. ALA is the most common omega-3 in the Western diet, but the body generally uses it for energy. To get the health benefits, it needs to be converted to EPA and DHA by a limited supply of enzymes, resulting in only about 10 to 15% of active omega-3. When you're trying to improve your omega-3 intake, it may be necessary to ensure you don't also increase your omega-6 intake disproportionately. So one strategy would be to concentrate on increasing your intake of EPA and DHA and reducing your intake of vegetable oils. While flaxseed oil is an excellent vegetarian source of ALA, because it requires converting, it's definitely not a substitute for the omega-3 in fish, fish oil and algal oil. Another important fact about the two omegas is that omega-3 is fairly unstable. This means it will oxidize quite quickly, go brown and go off and become inedible, whereas omega-6 is stable and has a long shelf life. This is why a lot of processed food has the omega-3s removed. Okay, so what does this have to do with managing your weight? Well, I read an intriguing book recently that proposed a very interesting theory. The book is called Why Do We Eat Too Much? by Andrew Jenkinson. In Chapter 9, he suggests that our current obesity crisis may in part be caused by the changes in our diet. These changes were introduced in 1980 when saturated fat became the demon and everyone was urged to switch to using so-called healthier vegetable oils, drinking skimmed milk rather than whole milk, avoiding red meat and increasing the amount of wheat and grains we consumed. It's important to realise that whole milk and red meat used to be a reasonable source of omega-3, but this has been further downgraded by the changes in farming practices, which means that these animals are rarely grass-fed. Remember that animals and fish normally get their omega-3s from eating green plant material, like grass and plankton. So we get our omega-3 from animals because they eat grass. But now cattle are much more likely to be fed on corn-based feeds instead, because these are cheaper and fatten up the animal faster. Similarly, these days, a lot of our fish is farmed, and again the fish tend not to be fed their natural diet, as it's cheaper and faster to give them a commercially produced pellet made from other fish and/or grains. So this means that the quality of our food has been substantially changed, and most people think that it has deteriorated. Intuitively, feeding any animal a diet substantially different from what it has evolved to eat is going to have unintended consequences, and that includes us. If feeding cattle and fish grains makes them fatter faster, then I think there's no doubt that it has a similar effect on us. What the heck is the mechanism for this? I think it's fairly well understood these days that refined carbs in particular cause insulin spikes, and this increases fat storage. But how does the lack of omega-3 influence our body's storing of fat? To understand a possible explanation, we need to delve deeper into how our bodies use omega-3 and omega-6, as well as explore the seasons. One of the main functions of the two omegas is to make our cell membranes. Every cell in our body has a membrane. This is a bit like a garden fence. It helps keep all the structures in our cells where they should be and stops them going exploring, but more importantly, it controls the flow of substances both in and out of the cells. Now, omega-3 is a flexible little fatty acid, whereas omega-6 is more rigid. A cell membrane that's mainly made up of omega-6 will be stiffer, and it's postulated that this may affect the rate of flow of substances in and out of the cell. Take glucose, for example. If we have high levels of circulating glucose in our blood and our cell walls prevent this being absorbed readily, then the body responds by increasing insulin to make the cells more permeable. The more insulin we produce, the more fat we store and the more insulin resistance we create. The other effect is even more intriguing and may be operating at the epigenetic level. This is where our environment determines which of the genes in our bodies are actually switched on or switched off. Dr. Jenkinson proposes that in spring, when there's plenty of leafy green tender food, i.e. lots of omega-3 around, our bodies interpret this as a spring when food is plentiful and boosts our metabolism and gets us ready to reproduce. In autumn, when crops are finished, there are lots of nuts and seeds around, so lots of omega-6. The body slows down the metabolism and stores fat as a protection method for potential food shortages in the winter. It also signals us to be less energetic and conserve energy, which in some species like bears mean they go into complete hibernation. As our diet now is so rich in omega-6, is it possible our bodies are always thinking we're about to go into winter and alters our metabolism accordingly to prevent us from potential starvation? Which begs the question, what if we switched this around and ate loads of omega-3? Would this mean our metabolism was firing on all 4 cylinders? We had loads of energy and maintaining our weight became effortless. Now, I should stress that this is just a theory and is not proven. However, it does make a lot of sense. And if this epigenetic switch is out there and all it takes is to eat more omega-3s and fewer omega-6 to bring it about, well, I'm all in. The bottom line is that there is general consensus that eating more omega-3 is definitely good for you. It may protect your heart, your brain and your bones, increase your metabolism, improve your insulin resistance and help you attain and maintain a healthy weight. The best way to get omega-3 is from whole, fresh food. Lots of leafy greens, oily fish, wild seafood in general, and grass-fed beef and lamb. Omega-6 is abundant in our Western diet, particularly in processed food, including vegetable oils, because it increases the shelf life of these products. Omega-6 is an important nutrient and you definitely need it. Some of the best sources are from whole, unprocessed foods like nuts and seeds. And if you need some more ideas, not just on what to eat maybe because you're just setting out on your weight loss journey, or perhaps you've stalled, check out the link in the description to my free comprehensive guide to kickstarting your weight loss. And on that thought, I'll leave you. As always, I thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like this episode if you found it useful, subscribe if you want to learn more, and do share your progress, your triumphs and your insights with me. All the best. Until next time. Bye.